Get Basel YouTube, 6ftHax here. Have for you guys today another Wi-Fi battle, and I want to say thank you guys for the amazing support on all the recent Wi-Fi battles I've been uploading. It really means a lot to me that you guys have been enjoying the content, and if you guys do enjoy this battle, then make sure to hit the like button down below, comment, and subscribe as well. So this match is against Avalon, and I'm using a pretty cool team that's based around Scarf Hydreigon and DD regular Gyarados. So looking at the matchup, Hydreigon was definitely my best lead just because my opponent doesn't really have a safe switch into anything that I want to go for. As he let off with the Mega Metagross, I can't knock out Mega Metagross in one hit because I am Scarf, so I'm going to be forced to go for the U-turn as he brings in his Beware. This is going to allow me to bring in my Mamoswine and get on my Stealth Rocks, which is going to be really crucial in this matchup because Hydreigon really loves to have that extra little bit of chip damage from Stealth Rocks to be able to pick up certain KOs and 2-hit KOs. As he goes for the Hammer Arm, he does bring me down to my Sash. This is not going to allow me to go for the Earthquake and get off a huge amount of damage on this Beware before he knocks me out with the return, and I end up making a bit of a misplay here. I probably should have either brought in my Metagross or at least brought in my Magnezone instead of my Mimikyu here, because as you see, he's going to be able to survive the play rough and break my disguise. The good thing is though, the next turn I will be able to knock him out, except that it would have been better to keep my disguise and then I miss play rough as he gets off an extra hit on me, which really sucks, but I guess it's not that big of an issue. Although, like I said, I most likely should have brought in my Metagross or my Magnezone instead, so I could have saved my Mimikyu for later in this matchup. And here I'm gonna try and Shadow Sneak his Mimikyu, but I get a little unlucky again as he wins a speed tie. So because his disguise is still intact, what I'm gonna do here is bring in my Hydreigon and go for the U-turn to break it and U-turn into my Gyarados, which will be able to get the Intimidate on his Mimikyu, and Gyarados should be able to take on Mimikyu 1v1. I didn't want to bring in my Magnezone just because there was a chance that maybe he was going to want to go for the Swords Dance, and then if he Swords Dance, he could have potentially had the Ghost Z move, the Never Ending Nightmare, if I'm not mistaken, and that could have potentially knocked me out in one hit. So I thought by bringing in Gyarados, I could kind of prevent him from setting up and doing too much damage to me as he goes for the Swords Dance on my Waterfall. In hindsight, I should have probably gone for the Dragon Dance because Gyarados is also another huge threat to my opponent, but the only offensive stab move that I have is Waterfall, and I have Earthquake as a coverage move, and with him having his Wishy-Washy, there was no way I was going to be able to knock him out in one hit, as he turns out to have the Twinkle tackle. I love the name of the fairy Z move just because it's so funny. Twinkle Tackle is just hilarious to me. So he's gonna knock out my Gyarados as I can bring in my Mega Metagross here, and this is why the buff to Mega Evolution is so great, because I will be able to get the speed boost from Mega Metagross and not have the regular 70 base speed from Metagross, and I'm going to be able to outspeed the Mimikyu if he did try to go for the Shadow Sneak. As I knock him out, he's going to end up bringing in his Wishy-Washy here, which I'm pretty sure shouldn't be able to knock me out in any one hit unless he's like Modest Specs Hydro Pump or something like that. So Zen Headbutt is going to be a clean 2-hit KO, as Scald actually does over 50%, which I was not expecting whatsoever. So if I miss my move here, he could potentially knock me out with the Scald, and I missed, but it's okay because he ends up going for the rest, and this is really good because with him having leftovers, that means he doesn't have the Chesto Berry, which means he most likely is a Rest Talk variant of Wishy-Washy. So if I can get a little bit lucky here and he doesn't pull the Scald with his Sleep Talk, I will be able to 2-hit KO this Wishy-Washy if I don't miss my second Zen Headbutt. So he does end up going for the Sleep Talk, as thankfully he pulls the Ice Beam, and this Ice Beam still actually does a pretty good chunk of damage damage. Doesn't freeze me, which is really nice. So this next turn I will be able to knock him out with a Zen headbutt as long as I don't miss. And I don't really have a safe switch in to this Wishy-Washy now that I lost my Gyarados. So I'm going to be able to take down the Wishy-Washy, although I have taken a lot of damage as he ends up bringing in his Metagross. I'm hoping that I can get a little bit of payback from earlier and win this speed tie and get off some damage with either my Hammer Arm or with my Meteor Mash, because even after rocks, Metagross can still live a Scarf Dark Pulse coming from Hydreigon, but I guess my Metagross is just not well trained and I lose the speed tie. I guess in hindsight what I could have done was gone for the Bullet Punch if anything. That way I could have got off the extra little bit of damage, and as you're gonna see here, Dark Pulse does enough to where if I did Bullet Punch, I would have been able to knock him out and avoid me having to take this Meteor Mash damage. On the bright side though, he doesn't seem to have the Bullet Punch, so I'm going to be able to knock him out with the second Dark Pulse, but he still has this Kommo-o, which if it is Dragon Dance and it gets up to +2, then he could definitely win the match here. So I'm going to be forced to switch out because I'm locked into Dark Pulse. As I bring in my Magnezone, he does turn out to be Dragon Dance, and this is really not good because if he doesn't Dragon Dance here again, the odds of me winning are really not that good in my favor, but I still do have a chance to win. So he's gonna hit the Sky Uppercut and knock out my Magnezone. And at this point, it comes down to whether or not Hydreigon will be able to pull out the victory. So I'm going to go straight for the Draco Meteor. Obviously, I will be able to clean knock out the Kommo-o since it is super effective, and Kommo-o doesn't have the best special defense around. And his last Pokemon is Alola Marowak, which if I'm able to get a crit with Draco Meteor, I will be able to knock him out, depending on if he's not max special defense, max HP, but I miss the Draco, and that's just kind of salt in the wounds as he's gonna knock me out with the Iron Head, and my opponent is going to win in a very narrow 1-0 victory. So I did get a little bit unlucky in that matchup, but either way I still thought it was a pretty good game because I could have definitely won. Like, I could have won there if I was able to get some luck and get that crit. I'm definitely going to take this team to the mountains and train them a lot better so that next time I can win speed ties and hit all of my moves. So hopefully you guys did enjoy today's quick match, and if you did, make sure to hit the like button down below, comment, and subscribe for more content. With that being said, guys, I will see you all tomorrow, so later everybody.
Cause my brain and heart are both tied in a knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion, but when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.